This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello, and welcome once again to the K2 Super! I forgot what show we were on. It's Superconnectivity, kids! This is the show where you superconnect with us, and we superconnect with you, and in that connection, we understand the world a little bit better. I hope. I'm your host, Charlie the Professor Esser, because I profess. And with me, as always, is the blue-eyed bomber of the Burg of Pits,
Fill me in, Perich.
Because he fills me in. Because Phil is actually a comic historian with a great knowledge of lore and legend that I do not possess. But he is very staid and academic, whereas I am a showman! Ta-da, ta-da-ta, yeah!
He shows it all.
Speaking of showmanship, shall we discuss the WandaVision?
Yes, episode 8. Spoilers, kids.
Previously on, yes. So, spoilers for this. So, this is, in classic sitcom format, the flashback episode. Wop, 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 wop. Remember that time the bomb fell on your apartment? What a wacky adventure that was.
In the middle of the Dick Dyke show.
Yeah. You know what's fun about this? It reintroduces mutants. Establishes that mutants have always been there. Establishes that mutants are a thing.
Yeah.
Just not as big a thing as it was until...
Yeah. It retcons that. Oh, yeah, Hydra didn't give you your powers.
No, well, exactly that. Oh, you always had powers, which suggests that Pietro always had powers, which also suggests that these powers were always there, but that when you're exposed to an Infinity Stone, they get a little bit of a jump up. And, gee, who was recently exposed to an Infinity Stone, Phil? Half the universe. Wow. That's right. Half the universe was exposed to an Infinity Stone, so... Wop, 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 wop. Yes, you're correct, Tristan. They were exposed twice. Which actually goes to my most interesting fan theory I have left. That I don't think people are thinking about yet, but I think is actually the truth. Wanda was pregnant when she was snapped.
She was?
She was. The children were already there. The children were a part of her when she was snapped and were snapped out with her, which is why they were being born with powers. And likewise, they are Vision's actual biological children because Vision is creating his own Horton cells to literally impregnate his wife. This is different than what was in the comics, I know, but don't always go to the comics. My theory is that Wanda was pregnant with the children when she was snapped. She didn't know she was pregnant. It was a very recent thing. You know, I mean, let's face it, we know they were doing we know they were phasing. They were in a phased state. They were quantumly superpositioned within each other at some point prior to this. And then in that very short timeline, which is the thing, it's like everything is in this super short timeline. And that's, I think, something that we often forget about this is that in those 5 years, really what we're looking at is this super short timeline of just a few weeks for Wanda and everyone that has been brought back from the snap. We still don't know if Darcy was snapped or not, by the way. So that's one of those or Agent Wu, which is one of those interesting questions that we are left with. But we know that Monica was snapped, as well as Wanda. And if Wanda was snapped, presumably her children were snapped with her. Because that is the one thing from the previous episode that I thought was the most interesting thing, was that Wiccan also was outside of Agnes's control. That when Wiccan looks at Agnes, he knows she's quiet. And whereas Wanda may be in everyone's head, Billy knows what's going on with Agnes. He can see her for what she is, and that is a little overpowering for Agnes. Obviously, she is able to exert herself with her greater knowledge base, but she knows Billy is arguably even more powerful than his mother, or could one day be. And that is the most interesting aspect of this story in WandaVision. That basically there's more to the story than we thought. Big case surprise, you know.
I have a big theory about Vision. You ready for this?
Let me hear it.
In the flashback, remember where they show her, in her grief, like building, changing Westview into this, into the 50s sitcom, and then like we see the Vision kind of like come out of her.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Remember how he died? Well, first she blew up the Mind Stone in his head, but then Thanos turned back time and just ripped that stone out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
What if the Vision's consciousness, his soul, whatever you want to call it, was in the stone when Thanos takes it? And then after he does his little snappy snap, he, days later, he destroys the stones. Vision's off in the ether. Wanda's already been snapped. What if those two kind of commingle, and then when she comes back, Vision's soul or whatever is in her? So that's really the Vision in mind or soul, not body, because at the end we see, white Vision.
Yeah. Well, I want to give my shout out to E-Man's Movie Reviews, who has been pushing the double vision theory all along, which is he said that the vision we are seeing in Westview is not the physical vision we saw in the labs at Sword, and that is confirmed this issue. Interestingly about that is just this idea that so here's what I will say. We know Hayward is the villain.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little disappointed that you do see Wanda's, taking over the town as her own I'm a little disappointed they went with the crazy lady trope with that. I was hoping they were going to break it, but they went with it. Okay, it's easy writing, I'm sure. But I think they do something in this that is kind of intended to show something that other people didn't see, which is the idea that she gave everyone a better life than they had because they had a sitcom life. So people are more successful in this world. They're more cared for. They're not in, because as we see when we watch that first episode, when we see Herb, he's like very angry as he's walking, and he, doesn't have full head of hair. He's a bald head guy. So you can see why Herb, hey, now I got a great head of hair. That's great. You see, Johnson. Although Johnson's still a sad sack in this universe because, I guess sad sackery goes beyond dimensions. We see that he's actually a piano teacher in this one, but also kind of a sad piano teacher. We see that the mailman, later a delivery guy, is a pizza delivery guy, so he's still delivering things, but he seems much happier in his life in the WandaVision Matrix. But along those lines, I do think that is the idea that we're supposed to take away from this, which is that there is some kind of therapy going on in this. That, and that's the thing, which is why I don't think Agnes is really being evil here. Agnes is being a very tough counselor, but it is about helping Wanda get through what has happened, to rebuild herself, to rebuild her universe. So I'm really interested in that. I found it interesting that when they are dissecting Vision, Wanda says, stop it, stop it, stop it. Just like Mrs. Hart said to Mr. Hurt when he was choking.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really interesting parallel they put in there, so that was neat. You know, on a lot of levels, this was a really good episode.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as it went back in time. Now, it's interesting to me that she is officially in Hydra in this, because I kind of felt the canon was that Hydra was hiding within S.H.I.E.L.D., so that the Hydra facility was actually a S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. But obviously they're making it, you know,
I think it was both.
Hydra-branded facility.
It was both. They had their own, and then they also had sleeper agents in S.H.I.E.L.D. also.
Yeah, but so that's interesting, and I like the fact that when she encounters the Mind Stone, she unwraps the Mind Stone, but then when reality cuts back, it's back to its spot, and we also see that she edited the video so that that's not seen. But what I really think has happened here is the idea that if Vision was in the Mind Stone, because we know that the Mind Stone apparently had the AI that was Ultron, but then also later the AI that is Jarvis. That AI comes out, and I think that goes to the line from Darcy in the last episode about being a STEM girl and just assumed she flipped a switch in his head. And that is literally what she does here. She literally takes the base program from her own energy signature, because as we know, it's the same energy signature between the Mind Stone and Wanda's powers, although it's not quite, and creates this new Vision literally from nothing. Which is interesting to say the least, that she's able to create this new Vision.
Again, I think that's the Vision, and you know, the one she pops out is the Vision in everything but body. And do you want my theory about who's in White Vision's body right now?
Ultron?
Yeah.
I mean, it's entirely possible.
There's a rumor Spader might be, you know, making an appearance or, you know, voice appearance, but, you know, yeah.
Well, you know, it's an interesting idea that, because that's the idea. Because of course, with Vision, what we're seeing in the universe, in Westview, is that this is sort of a rebooted Vision set to factory defaults, but the program was set to factory defaults. Now, White Vision, as we see, is arguably the machine set to factory defaults. So there's not an AI in it, or if there is an AI in it, the AI that is hardwired into it is going to be that Ultron AI.
I was going to say, it's going to be like half an Ultron, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe, and I think what we're going to get in this, because this is the new rumor that the actor that Bentley, what's his name, who plays Vision?
Oh, Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany, not Bentley, Bettany. The actor he always wanted to work with was himself. And so they're going to get together. And I think what you're going to have is you're going to have that merging of the two at the end of this.
Oh, yeah. I think that's definitely.
And that's the new Vision.
That's how you're
that's the new Vision.
That's how you're going to resurrect him. She's going to take what she had and merge it with that body, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also going to be that idea of the two becoming one. And then he's Wonder Man. I don't know. Yeah. We don't know yet. And here's what I'll say. They are always throwing us curveballs. And again, I see Agnes as being the tough love psychiatrist in this. That, yeah, she's being a total, see you next Tuesday. But the fact of the matter is that's what Wanda needs. Wanda needs someone to sort of say, get over it, move on. We need to get to the next thing.
I think Agatha either wants her powers or wants to know how to create stuff. Because we got that flashback in the beginning. I don't know if like Agatha wants to like try to resurrect her mother or blame herself for her mother's death.
Well, no, wasn't that Dottie? Wasn't her mother Dottie?
I'm not sure.
I felt that was Dottie, and that was the Dottie smelling the flowers in the last episode. So I kind of got the feeling that Coven is are people that have been brought back. Now, were they brought back by Agatha? Were they brought back by Wanda? That's the thing. We don't really know yet.
I mean,
we don't really know what they're telling us yet. But I get the feeling. I think every woman of note in the female, the women's auxiliary, is in fact a member of that original coven. Mm-hmm. And for what it's worth, I think it's interesting that as Wanda drives into Westview, you see all the locations, and they're in this dilapidated, broken down state.
Oh yeah.
Which is why she creates the perfect world of Westview, and sort of what, Pietro, as we learned, that is fake Pietro, which is also interesting because she never explains where she got the body. She said she couldn't resurrect actual Pietro because his body was a continent away and full of holes. Mm-hmm. But she never says exactly whose body this is.
I mean, I think that's going to be the big reveal. She pulled him from the multiverse because, again, this is. They said this is going to have something to do with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange 2, the Multiverse of Madness.
I mean, that's a possibility. That's the thing.
I'm guessing it's going to.
They love to troll us, Phil. Is what I'm going to say. They definitely, and it's good natured. It's roasting, as I say. Marvel likes to roast its fans.
She either pulled him out of the multiverse or she transformed someone else into this Quicksilver.
Yeah, and again, it is this question of how much is Agnes in control, as much as so. Here's the thing: Agnes knows how to use magic. And it's very clear that the entire situation is that Agnes wants to figure out, how do you have magic? And part of that is this idea that I think we get at the beginning, which is that Agnes is also a Scarlet Witch. Because, hey, she said the thing at the end.
Well, no, she said, you're that mythical thing you can create from, nothing. She's like, you're the Scarlet Witch. She's like, you're the Scarlet Witch.
Yes, but I get the feeling that Agnes, prior to this, was the Scarlet Witch. Was thought of herself as the Scarlet Witch. As the person who was... Because she even says, I didn't steal these secrets. This is just how magic came to me. And I get the idea that Agatha was, again, a mutant with this latent magical ability who had training, and then, like Doctor Strange, because they had the latent magical ability, was able to open more doors expressly because they understood magic in a way that other people couldn't. Other people had to work to get that understanding. Agatha was born with it in the same way Doctor Strange was, and Wanda simply is magic. She is like Tao, the dragon, the bird flies because it has wings. The dragon flies because it is a dragon. Wanda is the dragon and simply flies.
But just from what Agatha's mother said, I didn't know if Agatha was just a mutant or adept, or if she had just stolen knowledge, because she's like, you have knowledge and power that you shouldn't have till you're much older.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. She has this power. But Agatha doesn't say she stole it. Agatha says,
I was going to say, the mother insinuated it, but I didn't know if that was true or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's true. That's the thing. They really want us to think Agatha is the villain, and I don't think anything about it. This is, and I keep on going back to that idea about waking up in a hospital, being a damaged person, and having to deal with the pain of being damaged. And I really feel that is what this story is about. It's about people being broken, needing to heal, and that, I think that, and I would be very fascinated to find out about Westview. It might be an interesting idea that Westview might have been really heavily hit by the snap. That maybe Westview, more than any other community, was hit by the snap, which might be why the witness was put in Westview, because there weren't a lot of people there. And so you have this place in Westview that has fallen into disrepair, that is broken down. And so, yeah, we'll put someone in Westview because why not in Westview?
You know what? That's interesting. Yeah, because you know what? We still don't know who that witness is. They, Jimmy Woo threw out that line, and then we haven't come back to that since. So I wonder if that's going to be the big actor.
Well, that's the thing. That's the kind of thing that, it's the kind of thing that is given to you. That is a Chekhov's gun if I ever heard one. I was like, oh yeah, I was here because of the witness.
Yeah.
Who was the witness? What is the witness? What happened to the witness?
Why is the witness?
And, whether it is, whoever that witness is, it's going to be someone interesting. Maybe the witness is actually, the mad thinker or, and that's the thing. Maybe the witness is the mole man. Maybe we get, what's his name? Warwick Davis as the mole man. Cause I would love that. I'm here for Warwick Davis as the mole man. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting story to say the least, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where it's going, but I like where it has been, and I like where it's going next. They're definitely playing up the, evil quality of Agnes.
Yes.
But again, I think that is that's more meant for our misdirection than the actual story. I think she is evil, as Doctor Strange once said about Dormammu. Well, he is evil, but only in our mortal moral sense. That, outside of our perspective, what he is can't be defined as evil. He is something else,
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think she's like full on evil, but I don't think her motives are completely pure though either.
Actually, that's the thing. That's where I'll disagree. I think her motives are to help Wanda. I think her motives are to help Wanda. And I think there's even that argument that even Hayward is trying to do good the way he sees it. He sees the world as a world of threats.
Oh, yeah.
And so he needs a sentient weapon.
And he was like, I can't let, I'm not going to let you bury however many 300 pounds of vibranium in the ground. Just bury it into the ground.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like he intentionally antagonizes Wanda. And you'll see when she touches Vision, you'll see all of a sudden his circuits start lighting up. But she says he's not here. Which means it is just the hardware, not the spirit.
Yeah.
And when she has her breakdown at the house that Vision bought for them, how he did that, I don't know. I don't know if he's... I do wonder if Vision had to go out and fill out a mortgage. Honestly, that is going to be a really great YouTube video. I'm sure will be his Vision at the bank saying, so you want to build a house in Westview? Okay, so you need a mortgage, what's your down payment?
I could see him doing that during Civil War. I could see, before Wanda ran off, I could have seen him saying, you know what, maybe we shouldn't live here. Maybe we should live somewhere else. And, at that point, Tony Stark's around. Tony Stark could easily get that for him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I mean, everything. I'm just saying, I don't doubt that he did it. I just found it an interesting thing to have happened.
Yes.
And I would love, like I said, I would love to see the YouTube video that will eventually be made, the animated YouTube video of Vision, whatever they do, either he's applying for a loan, or he's going to Tony Stark to get the money, or, but just the idea of him having this plan. And that's an interesting idea there, just the idea that Vision probably thinks of himself as immortal, and he has this plan, so he's going to go build this thing. Because even this is where we will grow old together. Vision's not going to grow old unless he makes a choice to have the illusion of growing old with his wife, even though she's going to have a life and he will then can just restructure his vibranium. Although within that same idea, again, it goes to this idea of what Vision is building towards, and the idea of him impregnating Wanda at that point after their marriage would be a logical next step. So him creating vibranium sperm to impregnate Wanda, because even Wanda says their dad was made of vibranium, they have inherited thick skin, is a kind of telling line. You know, as I've said, one of the most fascinating things that I don't think they're ever going to touch on is the idea that vibranium is a metal that absorbs energy that is directed towards it. Meanwhile, Vision was at ground zero of at least one of the snaps that undid the universe. So,
well, I mean, one, he was at ground zero for the snap, but also Thanos rewound him with that time stone too.
Exactly. So the energies within that vibranium are probably insane. And of course that of course shows the classic short-sightedness of government, that rather than try to study the energies, they're trying to rebuild the machine. It's like, you know, there's actually something far more useful here than just that machine.
Oh,
but
oh crap! If there's like infinity energy in that body, if that is Ultron.
Well, even if it's not Ultron, there's infinity energy.
I know, but I'm just saying, Ultron might have access to some limited Infinity Stone energy now.
Well, what else is new? You know, I mean,
yeah, but I don't think you could.
I mean, Ultron was arguably the operating system within the Infinity Stone.
Yeah,
which is an interesting question. Like, was Ultron in the Mind Stone? The concept of having a mind? Was it Tony Stark's mind that overlaid over it? I mean, what exactly was Ultron is a very interesting question. And that's why we like Marvel movies, because there is a complex lore that we can't rely on because we're having it revealed real time. Oh, fun thought I recently had. Speaking of things revealed in real time, you realize that if by the time She-Hulk comes out, Jessica Jones is in it, she may actually have Luke Cage's kid.
Ooh.
That the timing actually works out that, yes, in the off-camera world, she and Luke Cage reconnected. Because, for what it's worth, the Daughters of the Dragon are doing their own thing. And Luke and this detective might hook up. And maybe even, Jessica's in AA, which is, good. She should be there. And
they bring up an old Charlie Esser theory, and Patsy could be with the Thunderbolts.
We're getting them, man. We've got our Zemo.
Yeah.
And we recently saw in Falcon Winter Soldier, the most recent clip, we get the full Zemo. We get the mask and the fur collar and, okay.
I was thinking the one day, I'm like, you know what, you could take a bunch of those Netflix villains and build yourself a Thunderbolts. Well, Patsy wasn't a villain, but take Patsy, take Bullseye. They were already operating on them at the end of Daredevil Season 3. Bullseye, what's his face? Bushwhacker? Bushman, yeah.
Yeah, that Bushman, and then also, what's his name? Diamondback.
Yeah, yes.
Who had the suit, who also is being given, who said, well, if there's a genetic quirk that lets you have superpowers, well, here's a guy who might have that same genetic quirk. Which again goes to this idea that everybody is a mutant, which is what Master Mold eventually realized. That every human is a mutant. Mm-hmm. That there is no differentiation between humans and mutants. It's just whether or not the gene is expressed or the gene is not expressed, but the gene was present in everyone. And that, I think, is the crux of the Marvel Universe, is that I think they're going to be codifying this going forward. It's like, no, mutants always existed. And I think we are going to see that Charles Xavier is alive and well and has been working and suddenly is dealing with, oh my gosh, I had like 6 mutants. I had a girl named Jean Grey and a Scott Summers and a guy with wings and a beast and Iceman. And all of a sudden, there's like 600 mutants that all are trying to come to my school. I'm like, oh, I was not prepared for this. This was not the universe I was trying to build. So it's interesting. It's interesting if the idea that mutants were always there, but now there's like just a lot more because of all the snapping, which was, of course, as I've said, the original idea of the mutants. It's like, it's not that mutants didn't exist before now. It's just that now that there's all this excess radiation in the atmosphere, suddenly there's a lot more mutants because there's a lot more energy to pull upon. Anyway, it's a question, Phil. I don't know. Let's see, we talked about Superman and Lois. We talked about Batwoman.
We could do some...
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, no, I was going to say comics.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go to comics now. What was it? Let's talk U.S. Agent. I don't know how I feel about John Walker, U.S. Agent. Speaking of kids, I do see that we get, first off, the coloring on this book is kind of weird because dang if they don't make John Walker look like he's black in this panel. When he first goes to talk to... Yeah, I mean, yes, it's supposed to be shadows and everything, but it's like, that's weird. It's weird how they present it. It's...
I first looked at it. I'm like, wait, is that John Walker? Then I was reading it. I was like, okay, the dialogue's saying it's him, but...
Oh, by the way, I am loving the Heroes Reborn ad. First off, we got the Doom Hulkbuster fighting Hyperion, and we see Mephisto over here in the corner. By the way, I loved Mephisto's cameo in Amazing Spider-Man this week. Although at the same time, I gotta say, with Mephisto and I love Mephisto running that casino. It's like, hey man, do you have any idea how profitable casinos are?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's in that one storyline when he got locked up. That's where Doctor Strange locked him, is in a penthouse in Las Vegas. I guess, Mephisto was watching Vegas and saying, hey, I can do some stuff here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is literally Sin City. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my gosh, the humans built a city just for sinning? How did I not know this? How is this not my base of operation?
This is my power battery on Earth.
This is greed. This is lust. This is avarice. This is envy. This is gluttony. Have you seen the 99-cent shrimp buffet? Goodness.
And is that a demonic Hyperion in the right corner there?
Oh, of this one? No, that's Gargoyle.
Oh, okay. That's
the classic Defender Gargoyle, recently reintroduced in... Oh, what book was that? Oh, in Iron Man, dude! You just read this book!
But I'm saying the outfit kind of threw me, because he's wearing that red and yellow.
Well, yeah, demons wear red and yellow, because, Yeah, well, heroic demons wear red and yellow, and, that's the thing. See, that's how you know Hyperion... He wants to be a good guy, even though he's not necessarily, because he's red and yellow. And that's the hot colors. There's no cooling blue in his palette to make you go, oh, okay, he's not so bad. I mean, he's even a redhead. He's even a ginger. Mm. So it's all hot-blooded energy there. Because, Superman, he's got the blue and black hair. He's always cooled down. Hyperion, though, he's always turned up to 11. That's the problem with Hyperion. He may want to do good, but he's turned up to 11. Even freaking Dr. Manhattan is blue, because the palette is about being chill. But if you don't do that red-yellow palette, that is a different palette, and that is a palette of excitement, and nothing good happens from excitement. We realize that John Walker lost his job because essentially so this is weird, because this is some Illuminati weirdness, is that all of the killer tactical teams in this are like from really random agencies, including the USDA.
at that protest, I think that was the whole point. They just put a bunch of untrained guys on the front line with guns and said, "Oh yeah, hey, hey."
Oh, you think that they were just untrained guys and that they?
I think it was on purpose that someone put a bunch of untrained guys on the front line with guns and be like, "Hey, keep the protesters back."
I mean, that's actually a good idea too. My takeaway was that no, there were just these sleeper agents. That there were USDA agents with guns.
Yeah, no, I think
that cow is not ready to be sold. Bam.
I mean, I don't know if they were setting up U.S. agents or they wanted to make someone else look bad, but yeah, no, I think that was on purpose.
Yeah, everyone looks bad in this.
Yes.
I like Lamar Hoskins coming back.
Was he married before? Or is this the first mention?
I think this is the first we're hearing about him being married, and apparently it's not his kid because he said he got married with a ready family, and he says he was drunk, so it sounds like a Vegas wedding situation.
Okay.
Which is also kind of weird in and of itself. It's like. How does, I don't know. I can see someone like latching onto a superhero in that way, but, it just seems weird. But he also seems to be a very caring and doting father, taking care of the kids. So maybe, whether it's his kid or not, he says, no, I'll step up. I like this lady. I'm going to take care of things. We actually get, could they have made the Saint look any more like the, what's his name?
Oh, the comedian?
The comedian, yeah.
I didn't know if that was on purpose, too, or not. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously on purpose.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And, yeah, I'm not quite sure where they're going with any of this, but it was an enjoyable read. I'll definitely give it that much. Even to the point about his sisters... The hair that she dyed, she didn't dye her hair purple, it just turned purple because of the chemical. And then we see that Murray, the guy who is actually the secret master of all of this. I'm guessing we're going to get some 10 rings nonsense in this before the end of it.
Maybe.
But I enjoyed it. I liked it. It's a good story.
But where was the ice? The cover gives us, I am just ice.
Oh! You have a cover that says "I am just ice." I don't know.
I'm assuming it's supposed to be justice, but they break it up. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get that cover obviously,
Yeah.
Because he's cool, man.
Well.
He's got the darker palette. He's not trying to be all crazy and hot blooded. Do you want to do Black Cat, Maestro? These I haven't read yet, which is Champions, Ms. Marvel, 75th issue. I'll read that for next week. And, of course, Sabrina, me, and we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Maestro.
Maestro or Black Cat, throw it on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Maestro.
All right.
Doom just causes problems. But there's also this quality that I don't know, man. I'm torn in this because, first off, I love Ajax just punching Hulk again.
Oh, yeah.
Because I kind of get the feeling that Ajax could absolutely take out the Hulk if he had to.
Maybe at this point, yeah, because, I mean, the Pantheon age is much slower than the Hulk because he doesn't recognize the Hulk because he's all old. It's me.
Well, not only that, but if you remember the first time Ajax and the Hulk fought, and literally, that's the first time that you get that statement that, the Hulk's going to drown in 2 feet of water.
Yeah.
Because Ajax is stronger than the Hulk.
And that's when he was younger, yeah. Oh, yeah, he could take him now.
And so I do get the feeling that Ajax could absolutely kill the Hulk if he had to. And again, in this story, we actually see that, like, Ajax's whole thing is don't hurt Atlanta. And, of course, what does Hulk do? He tries to choke out Atlanta. I'm surprised that Ajax didn't completely jump him then, but I guess they made the point to tell him the plan. Don't jump the Hulk when he tries to choke out Atlanta. We're drugging him. Then we do see, and this is an interesting thing because Atlanta is saying that Prometheus was killed by AIM. And Ajax says, no, he just got sick and died. And they're trying to say, no, you don't remember it correctly. But then we actually see that apparently the Black Scythe, whatever that is, actually did infect Prometheus with something. And he's all mad at Delphi because you didn't see the vision correctly. It's like, dude, I just didn't see that part of it. I saw that he would kill you, and this is how he's going to kill you. Or I thought, I saw that you would fight. Whatever the story is, I don't know. I think they're being a little too hard on Delphi there. Because not for nothing, how are you just taking Delphi at face value? In this day and age, don't take Delphi at face value. So I enjoyed that. I was a little. It was interesting, the idea that this is the Doctor Doom he's just time traveling. He's just doing his king bit, and he's like, how do you think I survived? I'm using a time machine. I'm avoiding this stuff, And I also like the idea that it's not that it is specifically not the old man averse.
Oh, yeah.
That it's just, humans blew up the planet. Mm-hmm. It's not us supervillains. We never did that. That's just human propaganda that we blew up the planet. This was just humans blowing things up. And, I'm Dr. Doom, and I was just out of town at that time. I was back in the past, I was back in the future, and this is the universe I want to be in right now because it amuses me. Which, who's trusting Doom? Sure. But still, he gives them the stuff to take out Banner. Yeah. And they do take out Maestro in this. So, good for that. And I'm looking forward to next episode to see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Doom was like, whoever wins, he's going to double-cross the winner.
Well, of course. Doom is Doom. Doom is Doom, and Doom's going to Doom. Just like our own Master Doom, Rob Southgate. Black Cat was a lot of fun.
Yes.
We get her, it's interesting because we get a split consciousness of her using the power of Yggdrasil, using that ultimate Norse magic power, that wild magic, that chaos magic, and it wanting to be set free by her, and when it offers her too much and she says no. Which I also thought was just a very interesting aspect of it. The idea that, she actually does reject it because in the end, she is not going to mind. She's not going to make people love her. And that's where it went too far. It's like, oh, kill all my enemies? Great. Have everyone just say I'm awesome? Great. Have them be the most powerful person in town? Yes. Have my lovers come back to me? She's like, no. Consent is important. Mm-hmm. Always remember you have to have consent. So I loved that. I loved that aspect of the story, and I thought that was pretty good.
Oh, yeah. That's Felicia.
Yes. And then final book I got this week is The Union, Episode 3. This seems to be post King in Black, which is weird. Because they're like, whole King in Black, okay. Now everybody's off in their own thing, and we're fighting. We introduced a new character called Bulldog, who is basically a cross between Wolverine and Puck, which is cool. He's a short guy, but he's very strong, and he beats you up. We realize that the actual villain is going to be a guy by the name of Doc Croc, who is apparently a villain in England, who has employed several of the villains, and you kind of get the idea that basically the Union is just the British Thunderbolts. So that sounds like fun. Anything you want to talk about, Phil?
No, I think we pretty much hit it tonight.
Oh, okay, well that's good. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed listening to this show. If you didn't enjoy listening to the show, have you considered that it's not us, it's you? That you don't have adequate audio equipment? And that really what you need is a good pair of Tweaked Audio headsets on tweakedaudio.com, where you can use the coupon code Southgate at checkout to get a discount on their already affordable audio equipment. Likewise, you can use that same coupon code over at Huntakiller.com. Phil, can we pause for 1 second? I really need to stop for a second.
Okay.
So I'll be right back.
Or I can just keep doing the plugs. Like Charlie was saying, go get Tweaked Audio and Huntakiller for, please support those sponsors. Use the code Southgate for both Tweaked Audio and Huntakiller. But if that doesn't interest you, if you like to read, or if you're interested in the world of podcasting itself, you can pick up Pod Life, the book. You can pick that up digitally or in paperback. Learn about the journeys of many different podcasters, including myself, Robert Southgate himself, head of the Southgate Media Group, a bunch of our friends. Very interesting stuff. And you may be asking, where can I find this tome of knowledge? Well, I'm glad you asked. You can get that on Amazon. Everyone knows Amazon. And when you go on Amazon, use the link for Southgate Media Group. It's right down there in the show notes. Doesn't matter if you're watching this on YouTube or you're in on the podcast. It's down there in the show notes. And when you do go on Amazon, use the link for Southgate Media Group right down there. Like I said, help us support this show, the network, the Southgate Media Group network, and all our various shows. Whatever topic you're looking for, especially if it's some kind of pop culture, TVs, comics, movies, we have the podcast for you. We have gaming. So yes, help us support all of the various shows by using the code when you go on Amazon. Help support all of us. And, of course, the head of the network, Mr. Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Make it rain, so says Master Doom. What did you say? Please kick me in the pants. Why did your eye drift over to my box? Mark my words.
Yes, and so if you want to get a hold of anybody on the Capes and Lunatics podcast, you can always email capesandlunatics at...
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I did the plugs. Now I'm just doing the,
Okay.
Email us capesandlunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And find our various social medias, links to the Patreon, the YouTube, merchandise, all at Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. All right, Charlie, it's all your plugs.
Okay, I hope nothing untoward showed up on the video while I had to get up and leave.
I don't think it's anything now.
Okay, so sorry about that, folks. If you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way Maz and Paz once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. And, of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of no, I don't live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore because that's not a show anymore, sadly. But I do live tweet Batwoman on Sundays and DuckTales Awoohoo on Mondays. And who knows, now that I'm doing Sundays with Batwoman, probably I'll do 8 o'clock Legends of Tomorrow on Sundays at 8. So that might be fun. At Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For
what?
quality. Bing!
Thank you, Maz. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for connecting with us this week. Please come back again next week, and why don't you just super connect with us again? It'll be fun. It'll be good. I'll try not to take a break at the end. Leave everything up to Phil.
Hey, nature calls. Nature calls.
Nature calls. Yeah, I should have taken the bio break when we took the bio break. But
you gotta take the bio break between shows.
Gotta take the bio break, yeah. You learn, you live, you get loves.
You don't want to hear this, Charlie Esser, but you're only human.
Sadly, yes.
That's why we love you.
Someone's got to be human.